So welcome back to April's Intermediate Saturday Sampler here at Close to Home in Southington. So beginning Friday, April 7th at 10 a.m., you can bring in your completed March block to get your April's kit free. We will also have selected Finish the Bolts for 50% off, and there is no limit on those. Also, you should know that April is Serger month. We have deep discounts on Baby Lock and Janome Jet Air threading sergers, so come on in and try one. All right, so this month's block for April's Intermediate is going to be the log cabin, just a very traditional log cabin. The bars on the log cabin are all cut at 1.5 and finish at 1 inch. We will start in the center with the smallest pieces and then continue in a clockwise fashion, adding each piece, A's, B's, C's, D's, as we go around and finishing with our L piece. Okay, 1/2 is going to be our background and the other half will be our colors and our fabrics. So I'm going to have you take a look at the cutting instructions, and I will show you again on the ruler what all these letters mean. It looks like a music music notes. All these strips are cut at 1.5 from your kits. So let's start cutting with our cream fabric, since there's a lot of those. Our log cabin ruler that we're using is the Marty Mitchell, my favorite log cabin ruler. And this is product number 8038. It does a 1.5 inch wide cut and a 2.5 inch wide cut. So these will finish at 1 inch, and this is the side that we are going to pay attention to for intermediate. I have never used this ruler in intermediate. I did use a very similar ruler with a different size back when we did the log cabin, the green and yellow alternate blocks on our log cabin quilt back in 2017. That was a different size. I believe those finished at 1.5 inches. These are cut at 1.5 inches and will finish at 1 inch. All right, so the beauty of using this ruler is that every time you cut another row, it identifies where they go, A, B, C, D, E, F, right on the ruler. And that's why I gave you the letters. It's so much easier to follow the outline as you go. So we start with our A units, cutting a cream of everything, and then the purple in an A and a B. Okay, the next cut we're going to do from our is get a C and a turquoise, a D and a turquoise, both the same size. The E is going to be our cream and our multi-stripe, and our F again is cream and the multi-stripe. Couple more. The G round is our cream with our brown. The H, again, cream with the brown, both cut to the H size. The I is cream with a round of blue, and so is J. So you'd cut one of each of these. And our last round is our cream K with our purple, and one last L in purple, and this obviously is 12.5, so you'll see that. I'm not so worried about the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 as I am following the letters on this ruler. So I gave you the cutting chart, what you need. It's also in your handouts, and here are what they look like. So let's cut a couple strips so that you can understand how to use this ruler. All right, so I have all my fabrics here. And the nice thing about, I've starched all my fabric at least once or twice. And the side of the ruler is just going to clean up my edge. Okay, most all of these are going to fit the long way, okay, in your kits. So I'm just going to hold the ruler down and cut singly straight through. All right, so from this nice straight edge, I'm going to turn my edge around. And the nice thing about this ruler is the strips are cut 1.5 inches wide from this side to the first solid line. So all I have to do is put this first solid line on my cut edge all the way down, and I have my 1.5 inch strip. We can cut everything with this ruler today. Okay, so here's my first strip, and I believe from the directions, let me just look up, we're going to need at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1.5 inch strips from the cream. So I'll cut a few more just to get you used to using this ruler. So again, line up the solid line, hold on to it, and just push straight through. And we'll do I don't want to cut my block underneath. All right, again, I'll cut one more, and you're going to be cutting 7. The first, okay, so we're going to continue with that to make our strips of all those. So the first thing you want to do with the cream is cut a nice 90-degree corner. So all I'm doing is lining up the top of my strip with any of these lines that go straight across. So I know I have 90. That's a little bit of a selvage, so I'll move that over and we'll trim off one end so I have a nice square start. I'm going to flip this around because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to go ahead and use the log cabin ruler, and I need an A in the first strip. I'm going to need a B and a C and a D. So here we go. I'm going to place the end with the A. I'm going to move this over. I'm going to place the end with the B. Move this over. These go very fast. C, and I need a D. As long as you have the top, bottom, and your cut line where you need it, you should be golden. All right, so already I have A, B, C, and D. The next one, it says I need an E and an F from the next strip. So once again, whoops, clean up my edge, get a nice 90-degree corner. I'm going to turn this around, and I need an E and an F. So I'm coming over here, I'm looking where the E line is, and cutting an E. Moving over, finding the F this time, cutting an F. And we're just going to continue to do this in this manner, cutting what our chart tells us to. So the next couple of strips, because they're so long, you're only going to get one piece out of each of the following after the first 2. These you'll get 4 pieces, this one you get 2 pieces, but 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. All right, same with the purple. We're going to cut a 1.5 inch strip 3 times. The first one, we're going to get an A and a B. The second one, we're going to get a K, and the third strip an L. And we're just bonding the letter on our ruler and cutting it to that length. Once we have everything cut and we're nice and ready to roll, we can start building our log cabin. And we're going to start with the 2 in the center, our 2 A's. This is our anchor point. Whenever I get kind of lost as far as, which strip goes where, am I going clockwise, etc., I always come back to these 2A blocks. The cream would be on the left and the purple on the right. From this point, I know that my block is right side up, and I'm not confused as far as which direction if I go. If I tip this a little bit, it gets a little confusing, but keep anchoring your 2 A's, cream to the left, purple to the right. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay. All right, so let's clean this up a little bit. And I'm going to go over here and grab my A pieces. And these are both an A. So I'm going to put the cream to my left, purple to my right, and go ahead and sew this down. So this is a great lesson in our 1/4 inch seam allowance and trying not to tug or pull our fabrics. Since every single piece is cut to size, they should fit right on top of each other. Okay. Once we get our first 2 units, we're going to finger press. I don't press until I get to the very end, and we're going to finger press this to the one we just added. So it's going to go to the purple. I'm just going to open that up, and I have this little tool. It's called a finger press, and it has a nice flat side on it, so I can just give it a little press like that. So, like I said, it goes around clockwise. I'm going to go ahead and add my B purple, okay? And then my B cream. So I'm going to grab those. B purple goes next. And I'm going in this direction. So this one's going to sit right on top. I like to start like this, and if I'm just a couple threads off, I can give it a little bit of a tug and line it up, but try not to tug too much. We don't want to distort it. We just want it to meet at the ends. And the nice thing is that our strips aren't super long and we're cutting them and sewing and cutting and sewing, because then they can get a little bit elongated, and then your square will kind of bow a little bit. So we want to keep these right on point. When I sew these, now that I have a seam, I'll take the solid piece that I'm putting on and I'm going to put it on the bottom. And I'm going to sew. That way I don't flip my seam allowances. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that. Just double check that I have this on the right side. This to this. This is going on top of this, correct. Okay, just checking. Nice 1/4 inch seam from the very beginning of our seam to the end. And I just pretty much hold it. I'm not really tugging at all. Okay, we're going to pull this one out and finger press this toward the new purple, the purple B. Okay, so this one gets pressed this way. And then I'm going to situate this exactly back to anchor those 2. My next one going around is going to be my B cream. And again, I'm sewing with the solid piece on the bottom. And we're just going to do one more round, and then we're going to finish it up. Get these corners. And not only should the corner be lined up at a 90-degree corner, but the whole edge of my strip. So I shouldn't see it kind of hanging, you know, even though my corner's like this, they should be straight across. 90 degrees every time, okay? Okay, pull that out. And again, we're going to press toward this piece I just added. Anchor my 2 pieces, and we're going to do the next one. So A, B, B. I need a C cream. And we can add that. Same way, we're going to press toward there. We're going to add the sea turquoise, press towards there. We're going to keep continuing to add. This is our D, and we're going to press to the D. Now we're going to start with our cream and keep going around and around and around and around and around. Okay, so I've left a block that I only have 3 more sides to put on. So what I'd like to do is sew the last 3 strips on for you and show you a great way to press so that it comes out at 12.5. So let's just go ahead, and with the power of magic of TV, we're just gonna continue to go around until we've got our last few strips. So again, this one's gonna start here and finish here. All right, so let's just get a couple of these moving right in the corner. All right, so I'm going to match these 2 corners. They're getting a little bit longer. If you want, you could put a couple of wonder clips on here, and they hold your strip in place really good before you need to get to them. So I'm holding that at the end, straightening all my raw edges so they're right on top of each other, trying not to pull. Okay. You can see as I press, everything is toward the outside or to the piece I just added. Okay, we'll add the purple. Purple's going to go on this one. I sew with the purple down, get my corner right in there, and go ahead and start that one. Once I get it started, I'm going to grab the other side, make sure it's nice and even, and straighten up my raw edges so that they're right on top of each other. I'm not pulling very hard on this fabric. It's just enough to keep it a little bit taut, so that it does open up these seams a little bit. Okay, and our very last one. Again, here's my anchor, so I know the purple, the very last one, is going down on this side. Okay, one more. Once I get it started, I match my 90-degree corners down here. Hold on to it and straighten up my seam allowance, my seams right on top of each other. All right. Take my iron hot. Grab my ruler, and what I like to do is take my ruler and put 2 pins in at the 12.5 mark. So that would be our L. So if I look all the way down here, A, B, C, D, E, F, I see the L at 12.5. So I'm going to put a pin right on the line for 12.5 and one right in the corner of my ruler. Okay. I'll go ahead and put this here. Put that there. So now that I know that's 12.5, give it just a little bit of a tug. I hit it with a little bit of best press just to kind of hold it together. Oh, my iron's not quite hot. And then one final press. You can put pins all the way around if you are concerned that you're not 12.5 anywhere. Just dry this up. Sorry, my iron was not heated up. And now I know my block is 12.5. Everything that is pressed has been pressed toward the outside. There we go. Okay, you have a nice square block. And again, I didn't continue to press. I did a finger press or with my finger presser tool, and I'm at 12.5. Okay, I could probably come this way a little bit more. Okay. And we have our log cabin. Again, finished at 1 inch. Don't forget to bring your March completed block in by the end of April, okay, to get April's kit free. And we'll see you next time. Bye.